Could Remco Evenepoel get a stage win at this Volta at Catalunya? We had a fire near the course, lots of attacks. This is the Punchy Montjuic circuit in Barcelona. This is going to be in the Tour de France. Both the TT and the second stage finish on this circuit in slightly different locations. And we had, indeed, Remco's the stage favourite. Vingegaard looking to defend a pretty handsome lead for a one-week race of 1:30 over Lenny Martinez in second. Decent weather conditions, a little bit windy. Strong break with McNulty, Court, Darren Rafferty, and Liam Slockenheiner Rubio. And they did manage to enter the final circuit in Barcelona, which is a favourite of many of the riders. But Bora, very aggressive straight away. Catania on the first lap started to put pressure. They got Tuckwell, then Hindley as their three helpers for Lipovitz and Remco. And with 36Ks to go, we see the first bomber from Remco Evenepoel. He's about 2 minutes behind Vingegaard in GC. Vingegaard glued to his wheel, only following. Then we've got Lenny, as well as Eulalio, Valentin Paré-Pantra. The problem is, this is like in a few other stages, Remco looks back. He sees Lipovitz isn't there. He gets on the radio, presumably to say, I'm going to stop. And maybe even you should counterattack as we get to the flatter part of the circuit, because it's a big selection that's made here. There's no sprinters here. I think it might be Saint-Romain, the big guy for Alpecin, the Neo Pro, but the sprinters look like they're gone. It is the idea that a sprinter is going to win this stage at this point with how hard it's been straight away is inconceivable. Antoine Lote for Decathlon made the front group, but they miss it with Felix Gall. So his teammates are put back to work. If there's a crosswind, if there's a descent, if there's a punch, Felix Gall, he's going to miss it. And so they're chasing. Lipovitz then starts to attack. Remco lets the wheel go. Vingegaard covers that. He's looking for his teammates. So he was very isolated for the last hour of this stage. Jonas Vingegaard had to do a lot of work himself. Hindley then makes it hard again. And the second attack uphill from Remco, now it's followed again by Jonas Vingegaard with Antoine Lote for Decathlon on the wheel. And the idea that, Dorian Godon or Brady Gilmore or some other sprinter is going to win, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. It's going to be an attack from somebody like Schelmoser, who got brought back, or a small group sprint of Remco, Onley, and Vingegaard. But Marc Soler goes. He's controlled. Bart Lemon starts to pace. Then Nordhagen and Kusk come up the front for the last 3 laps. But who's in the group? Got 3 from Ineos plus Godon to help him. Got Brady Gilmore plus George Bennett. And not really many other sprinters. Maybe David Gonzalez for Q365. Santi's there helping Lenny Martinez. He just wants to defend his second on GC from Florian Lipovitz. There's a fire at the port of Barcelona. It started to get really big. And I thought, is that going to affect the stage? And it looked like the 4th and 5th laps were the hardest. And actually, the GC contenders started to attack each other less. Like Remco didn't attack anymore on that uphill section. It was Onley, which is somewhat curious because he had Dorian Godon in the group here. So you'd think he'd be blocking for Godon to sprint. There was an anticipation, a great battle this week as well from Ciccone and Soler. They both took the KOM jersey competition very seriously, and Ciccone's not letting him win at Marc Soler, so he actually attacks him, sits on, and then rolls him for the last KOM points with the second last lap. So Only very aggressive. I think he was starting to mark, though, now. He was more following. I thought at this point, Vingegaard's just following him uphill. Remco comes back. There's a bit of a gap, but he doesn't have Lipovitz. So does he have to wait for Lipovitz, who's really not in this group at all? He then has to start covering because Only's somewhat in GC. So very tactical. No, I think Bora were the strongest team. Then Trek, maybe with Schelmoser and Ciccone, they could have tried to sneak away, but then Lipovitz attacks here, and because he's also third in GC, then Lenny and Bahrain, who have numbers, are going to control him. That's why Santi or Eulalio is riding the front here. So the group actually gets bigger. It just doesn't thin out anymore because all the big guns have spent all their bullets. We get to the last lap. Ineos are trying to block. They got numbers. They got Godon. There's attacks from Alpecin. Seb Berwick's chasing. Enric Mas then attacks, and Only's straight onto the wheel, blocking him. Lenny's following. Remco attacks here. I thought this was it. I thought little Lenny and Enric Mas, they're not going to close this gap. If Remco gets into the motorbike slipstream, gets a gap on this descent, and Florian Lipovitz drops the wheel there even, it's all over. Lipovitz should be dropping the wheel with Vingegaard behind him, but Remco gives up. Lipovitz then counters. Vingegaard's in the wheel. Lipovic looks back, looks at Remco, sees Vingegaard there. Remco shakes his shoulders. And so we were getting a sprint. Even though 5 laps to go, that looked very, very unlikely. Vingegaard goes to the front, just wanting the stage probably to be over from a GC perspective. Because, yeah, as you can see, there's no yellow jerseys near him to help control. Bora then set up a sprint train for Remco Evenepoel. It's a very high-speed sprint. So you want to get... First of all, you need good draft at this point, but you can't actually come from too deep. Dorian Godon shoots the inside in front of Onley. But unfortunately for him, Gilmore sprints into the draft of Godon as he was launching, slingshots out of him. I don't have the overhead shot, but Dorian Godon's beaten Remco third, and you can just see how Gilmore's a lot more compact, smaller guy, just lower profile than the sprint. Also got the slipstream and the drag into it, and that makes a difference. Biggest win for him in his career. Beats Godon, Evenepoel third, then Gonzalez, Lot, good stage from him, Roman Vergolito, Gualdi, Martinez, Henok. Here's what the Australian had to say after the stage.
Brady, congratulations. You got the win here in Barcelona today in the final stage of the Volta Catalunya 2026. The stage looked as if it could go for a different profile of cyclist, but in the end, you kept your options open, and I guess it's a fantastic victory, right?
Yeah, no, I think today it's a super hard climb, but it's more one for the punchy riders. I had a good feeling in the legs from the beginning. Yeah, and we've been trying all week to do good, and we got one stage with Ethan, so we're happy with that. But yeah, we come here for more, and to do it with Iniesta here in our bus this morning to show him how the racing works and our plan today, and then to just go and execute it is yeah, it's amazing. And I just fought to the end and never gave up, and yeah, couldn't be any happier.
This is your first World Tour victory. I guess you've dreamt about it many times. Did you imagine this outcome yesterday night?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it since yesterday. If there was a small group over the top and I could be there, and yeah, just knowing exactly where to open my sprint up from watching the previous years. Yeah, so just really studying it, and yeah, I've just been. I think about winning every day, and it's all I want to do. So to finally get a World Tour win feels amazing.
In terms of GC, Vingegaard wins with a 122 gap over Martinez, 132 Florian Lipovic.
You yourself said that this is a big race. You wanted it in your win record. Now you've got it, but the season goes on. How are you feeling? Similar to the different stages of the year in past years. Is there any difference? You feeling good?
Well, I feel very good at the moment. My shape is very good. Not the very best yet. We made a plan this year to progressively get better over the year, basically. So yeah, hopefully I'm pretty sure I still have more in me.
Bit of a shame that Almeida was sick and that there was the crash of Remco that affected both of their shapes, I guess, because then we could have had a really big battle. But anyway, hope you enjoy the videos, and I'll see you at the recap of the next race. Ciao, ciao.